Hurricane Helene kind of taught a lot of people that just because they weren't in the initial path of the hurricane, it's going all over the place. Instead of skirting around the Gulf of Mexico like they usually do and then going up the coast on the East Coast, it went up into Tennessee and everything. And they had, I think Interstate 40 got washed away. That is a huge, huge hub for food supply, water, gasoline, fuel, all kinds of fuel, everything. Interstate 40 is huge in the United States, and for it to be rendered ineffective or shut down, that's going to disrupt a lot of supply chains. And if an interstate went down, you can rest assured that a lot of smaller state highways and local roads are also inaccessible. This is why we must be prepared. At least be prepared for a few weeks, okay? Hi, welcome to Big Valley Living. My name is Michelle, and this year I am hosting 30 Days of Preparedness 2024. Thank you for watching everybody's videos throughout the month, and thank you to the collaborators who have brought some amazing ideas to the table. Good reminders, new ideas, and a lot of common sense things that we should all be thinking about doing to make sure that we're prepared for an emergency. Emergencies aren't just because of weather or unrest, but you may have a financial hardship, you may have job loss, you may be laid off for some reason, you may have health reasons that you need to be prepared. You may not know that that's coming, or you may know that it's coming and you simply need to prepare. Today's video for me is the last one for the entire month, and I'm going to go over several items. Today I was stocking up at my local big box store, and it was time to stock up on paper products. Mostly for the winter. I like to try and keep at least a 3 to 6 month supply of certain paper products on hand. While I was at the big box store and getting my paper products, it also started me to thinking about other things because I was picking up other items. So I'm going to bring several items to you tonight. And the first one I want to talk about is if you don't have a lot of money to go to the store and buy a lot of extra cleaning products and other items like certain medical aids or just over-the-counter relievers and things like that, I want to talk to you about some alternatives that you can use with a few very simple items. The first one I want to talk to you about is, well, let's start with vinegar. Let's start with white vinegar, okay? 5% acidity, keep that on hand. You can buy them in gallons. I bought a 2-pack of 5% acidity vinegar today, different brand, and it cost me less than $12. Now, vinegar can be used for a number of things. As a canner, I use it to wipe the rims of my jars to ensure a good seal. But there are so many more good ways to use it. And I'm going to bring a little list of them to you right here. And then I'm also going to link to a couple of channels, one of them being TrueLeaf Creates, who has 2 videos in this collaboration. You may want to go and check out her video, which I'll drop in the description below. But I need this because I'm going to have to read them all to you, okay? I'm going to go through this quickly, but you can go and Google it and get more information or watch some videos. Along with TrueLeaf Creates, you could also go to Prepper Potpourri on YouTube. She's got excellent tips. And then there's another channel called Clean My Space, and she does a great job of using vinegar in different ways around the house as well. But here are some things you may not have thought about. You can use vinegar to clean small appliances in your kitchen. It takes the grease and the grime away, and it can leave it shiny after you buff it. You can use it as an alternative for a dishwasher rinse aid. You can also add it to your dish soap or your dishwater in your sink to eliminate some soap, to eliminate grease and everything and make it easier to take smells and stains out of your dishes. You can use it as a kitchen surface cleaner. I like to use it with a little bit of water on a cloth just to wipe down my stainless steel, because it'll take some of the grime off if you have dust that mixes with oils from cooking. You can use it as a natural window cleaner. Now, I want you to pay attention to some of these things, because if you use vinegar for some of these ideas for cleaning, you can eliminate the need to buy some other things at the store, and this could actually help you save a lot of money. You can use it as a carpet or clothing stain remover. You have to be careful about that, so you want to test a spot before you do it, but it can certainly help with getting rid of things like sweat stains or deodorant stains in shirts, or a little bit of dirt or ring around the collar, as we used to say back in the 70s. You can use it as a spot spray for pet accidents on the carpet or on the floor. It can help keep your pet from reoffending, if you will. You can use it as a laundry softener. Vinegar can also be used to clean your shower heads. I like to take mine off about every 2 months, put it into a plastic bag, put vinegar in there, seal it up with a rubber band, make sure that it's covered by the vinegar, and then you can rinse it out when you're done, and it'll take the hard water deposits out. Trust me, it works. I've only had to buy one new shower head in 21 years, and that's just because I wanted to change the color of it. It works. You can use it with baking soda as a glue remover. You know those pesky little stickers that they put on your glasses and everything? Well, it's going to help you, and that, again, is something that you can eliminate buying. There's a special solvent you can buy. Don't buy that. Use vinegar. You can use it with baking soda also as a less harmful drain cleaner. I do this regularly to simply keep my drains clean. You put about a half a cup of baking soda into a drain, then you follow it by a cup of vinegar and let it sit for a little bit while it fizzes up, and about 10 minutes later I take some boiling water and I slowly pour it down, and it keeps the drains nice and clean. I've been doing that for years as well, and we typically do not get any problems with our drains. You can use it with baking soda as well. Again, are you noticing a little thing here? To clean your silverware or silver jewelry. It helps it shine right up. You can use it to kill young, tender weeds in the garden. Now you got to be careful with that, okay? Be careful about the plants around it, and it won't work on really tough, big clumps of weeds that might be in the cracks of your sidewalk. You would need something a little stronger for that, but there's a special vinegar for that too. You could use it as an ant repellent or a deer and rabbit repellent in your garden. For ants, I just take a little bit and spray it around the cracks when it starts to get rainy in the big valley. We have a big ant problem around here when it starts raining. You can use it as a garden tool cleaner. You can use it to clean You can use it to clean mineral deposits from your terracotta pots. You can, it helps adjust the soil pH in your garden, but you've got to be careful. I would caution you about that one. Definitely go and look at the instructions on that, and be careful again about what plants you're going to put that around, or what plants you plant in the soil that you use that as a pH tool. You can create fruit fly traps with it. You can use it to get wax and buildup off of your vegetables. A lot of grocery stores will put wax on vegetables to make them look a little bit more appealing under the lights at the store. You can add salt to your vinegar. You kind of make a little bit of a paste in a way, and you can use that with a soft toothbrush, not the one you use in your mouth, okay, to clean copper or bronze or brass. You can also use it to clean some of your dishes and your pots, especially your copper bottom pots. It works very, very well. I remember as a child, we'd get an old penny, old pennies, and we would clean them up so that we could see what year it was made. We didn't have a lot to do, okay? If you put some vinegar into the refrigerator, especially like some apple cider vinegar, and keep them cool all the time. It can help soothe sunburns or like, you know, a really light burn that you might get in the kitchen from a splatter or something. For more serious burns, definitely see your medical professional. And finally, you can use vinegar to clean jars to eliminate any odors and smells that might stick to them. I've also used vinegar in water solutions in like plastic Tupperware type things to remove some of the scents if you put something in there and it got a little bit strong. There are many, many, many other uses, and that's why I will link some items down below. Now, let's move to another thing here. Now this, I got this today, and I want to tell you, it is 13.5 pounds of baking soda, okay? Baking soda also has tons and tons of uses. You've already heard me talk about that. Now, the price of it has actually gone up. I used to get a 2-pack of this at Costco for about $12, $13. This single package was $8.89 today, but it's solid like a brick, okay? This is gonna go a long way, long way. So here are some things that you can do with I'm getting ahead of myself. So here are some uses for baking soda. My dentist swore by this. His whole family did it. Brush your teeth with baking soda. It's gentler on your teeth. It helps to clean your gums. It helps keep your mouth fresh. You know, you brush your tongue when you're done brushing your teeth. So you can use this as a toothpaste alternative. Again, if you're on a budget, you're not going to necessarily be able to afford going out and buying, you know, a tube a month. I don't know how long it lasts you. It probably depends on your family. But if you're trying to save some money, this is a really good way to do it, and it's good for your health, okay? Do your own research on it, but it does work very well. You can use it as a deodorizer on your carpet or your furniture. Again, test it on your furniture or carpet, but I'll take it and just sprinkle it around a room before we have a party and after we have a party. Let it sit in the carpet for a little bit and then vacuum it up. It'll just make the room smell fresher. It works the same way in your refrigerator. Put a little bit in a dish, keep it open, put it in your fridge, and it will absorb all of the little odors that kind of get trapped in there. It works like a charm. You can use it as a shoe deodorizer by just adding a few drops of your favorite essential oil to it. Put it into a cheesecloth or a flour sack, you know, just tie it up real quick and put it into your shoes. The beauty of that is that you can use it over and over again. You can make homemade bath bombs. There are all kinds of instructions on the internet for that. And bath bombs can also be used in your toilet bowl to help clean and deodorize your toilet bowl. Again, think about the cleaners that you buy in there, or that you buy to use in your toilet bowl and all of your other cleaning. You could save potentially hundreds of dollars a year by buying this $8.89 bag, maybe 2 if you had to, of baking soda, okay? You can use it as an you can use it as an antacid. You don't need to be buying bottles of the chewable things, you know, that you keep with you. Just keep some of this, add it to some water, and it will relieve acid in your stomach. It also, like I said earlier when I was talking about the vinegar, you can also use it as a drain cleaner. So I've already talked about that. You can use it with water and use it as an odor refresher spray. You can erase marks on the wall. Sometimes kids do strange things, don't they? Or maybe somebody was taking their shoes off because they remove their shoes as they come into your house, and a boot scuffed the wall as they were putting it down. Well, you can use this to take that scuff off of there. Clean your window screens a couple of times a year. We all do fall cleaning and spring cleaning, right? Well, a lot of times people don't think about the screens. After you've cleaned your windows, you already have your screens off of the windows anyway. Make a mild solution in a bucket with some baking soda and some water. Take a brush, lay it down, brush it off, and then rinse really well. When you put them back on after they've dried, it's actually going to make the air that comes into your house smell so much better. Believe me, it makes a huge difference. You can also use that same water to clean all of the tracks and make sure that everything around your windows smell really good. You can make a paste to polish your faucets and fixtures. You can either use vinegar if you have a tough stain, or you can just use some water. But it makes a nice light buff, and you can go ahead and clean it off. It'll do a really good job for you. You can clean scorched pots and pans with it. I put some in with a little bit of water and just turn it on to a simmer, turn it off. Make sure you watch it, okay? Don't turn it on and walk away. But it can help soften some of those burnt on stains maybe on your pans. So check that out. I just let it cool down till I can, handle it and then scrub away. But it does a good job. You can use it as a stove top or countertop cleaner. You can even use it in your oven. I have a self-cleaning oven and I don't use it in there. But again, go Google it and check it out. It might be very helpful for you. You can create what's called a slime with it. Go to armandhammer.com and you can get the recipe there along with a lot of other ideas. But if you make slime like you make for the children, you can also use that very same product and it turns into like a little ball of goo. And you can take that ball and go into things like cup holders in your car, or like right around like where the vents come together and it's really hard to get the dust out of there. Or if you ever have like a glitter accident, if you have little ones around, you can use it to get those little pieces of glitter that seem to never go away. Never. But that could be helpful. You also use this in baking all the time. I'm not even going to say any more about that because it's an agent that we use when we're making things like cakes and cookies and everything. Refresh your refrigerator with baking soda. I've already talked about that as well. I always have a little bit sitting in my refrigerator. They used to have you buy a box and put it in there, but I've got this big old thing, so I don't worry about that anymore. You can use it for crafts with the kids, all kinds of crafts. Again, go to armandhammer.com for that. This is not an Arm & Hammer. This is not an Arm & Hammer commercial, but it is, it is what it is. But they do have a lot of good ideas there. You can use it in your beauty routine. You can add a little bit to your shampoo to make a clarifying shampoo. And you can also make a nail and cuticle soap to soften your cuticles and everything when you're doing your nails. You can clean combs, brushes, and makeup sponges with it. Now, that would be nice because you want to keep all of those things clean to keep yourself clean and healthy. You can use it as a laundry booster. It kind of softens a little bit. Same with vinegar. Vinegar is a great way to soften your laundry. And no, there's no smell to it. Finally, you can use it as a meat tenderizer. I know my mom and dad used to use, they used to use that and some apple cider vinegar with some pepper and other spices to make a really neat marinade for tougher cuts of meat. They used to buy London broil and my dad would grill it, and it really made a nice tenderizer. I can remember a lot of really nice meals in the summertime. So that's it for these two bad boys, okay? They're not expensive and they can save you a ton of money, and they're not as caustic as some of the harsher things that you buy. You're not going to have your aerosols and 15 little cans that get stuffed in the back of your closet. This could actually declutter your house if you think about it. So I'm going to tell you, I would consider doing that. Okay. This is going to be a different little segment that I want to talk about. It has come up in other videos. But when we're talking about possible emergency situations where the power goes down and you may or may not have access to clean water for a while, you may live where you have a well and you don't have the power to pull the water from the well. You may not have a clean municipal water source for a while due to floods or earthquakes or hurricanes or any number of things. When that happens, you put away 1 to 2 gallons per person per day. That's for personal use, for cooking, for drinking, for cleaning, that type of thing. Well, you know what? You're going to have to eat. You're not going to want to be doing the dishes. You can't really depend on being able to do your dishes and do them clean, make them clean. So I'm going to recommend that you keep yourself some paper plates. You can get some bigger ones for, if you're having a bigger dinner or something, or for serving. And then I picked up these smaller ones today because you get a lot more in the package. And quite frankly, you don't really need a gigantic plate, especially if you're in emergency situations. You can also buy bowls, and we do have some plastic bowls that we keep on hand. I don't have them sitting here with me, so consider that though. For things like, rehydrating, dehydrated, or freeze-dried soups and foods. Another thing is that you won't be washing all of your silverware and everything. So consider getting yourself one of these nice little boxes of utensils, okay? You can throw these away. If you do have some water, you could always clean them. You know what? You could pull out your vinegar and use it to help to clean it off. But anyway, they come with plenty of forks and spoons and knives. So this is a good idea to keep on hand, okay? I don't really use them for parties and stuff unless we have tons of people, but they are very, very good to keep around. All right, what else did I get today that I want to talk about? Batteries. Make sure you have extra batteries. And, if you have items that you only use once in a while, I have an old tape recorder. I know this sounds silly. I have an old tape recorder because I have cassette tapes with our kids talking on them and having fun. And, they're pretty old. But tape players aren't very common anymore, and I still want to hear the kids' voices, and I haven't taken the time to, transfer them to a different type of media. So when I'm not using it, I take the batteries out because batteries will eventually fail, and that could make those kinds of older items fail. Another thing that I use them in, and we'll be talking about lighting in a few minutes, but I will use them in alternative lighting. But if we're not using these, okay, I just keep batteries nearby where we keep them in each room. I'll keep batteries in a drawer, and that way they don't corrode in here if I don't use them for a year or two, because I might not. But you do want to test your batteries before you need them, okay? Okay, so now we are going to talk about some lighting, okay? Lighting alternatives. Now, you can have, I have this oil lamp. This was actually a gift that somebody gave to me a long time ago, and it actually has Mount St. Helens ash in the product here, in the ceramic. It's really cool. But I have used this in an emergency, and you just want to make sure that you have the right. They make a special lamp oil, and you want to make sure that that's what you're using. Don't use anything but an approved lamp oil, okay? And be careful when you're filling this. Get a special spout so that it doesn't leak around the outside. That could actually be dangerous, okay? So another thing that I like to keep on hand are, they kind of hide in plain sight. And those are tea lights. So like these right here, they have colors in them. They have little fall colors. But you can buy these by the, bags of 50 or 100 at any store, like a craft store. You can get them at IKEA for next to nothing. And they don't have any scent to them. Don't get anything with scents, please, because it's going to overwhelm your senses. And if you have competing scents, you're not going to like what you get. If you want to use those kind of candles, use them on a day where you're not in an emergency situation. But I like to hide my candles, like I said, in plain sight, okay? Because I always know that I'm going to be able to find one real quickly. You need to make sure you have plenty of matches. You need to make sure that you have matches or lighters as well. Now these are really handy. These lighters here. You can use these to light your barbecue. You can use them to light a fire in your fireplace if you have a regular fireplace. If you have, if the wind has knocked your pilot light out or something like that for your heater, you could use it for that. We use them in our RV as well. We have an RV as an alternative cooking source. So that's how we get our stove and oven going in there, is to use one of these. You can also buy stick matches for next to nothing at any hardware store, and those are good to have on hand as well. I would recommend keeping them in something that will keep them from getting wet, such as a plastic bag or some such way. Make sure that you have those strategically placed around the house where you do have your candles. However, please be sure that they're out of the reach of young children or kids who might want to just be experimental, okay? Don't take a chance. Kids are curious, and you just don't want to give them any reason to do something that, that could harm them. Okay, keep a couple of little flashlights like these around, okay? Put these in a drawer in a handy place. Like if the power goes out, you hear all a boom, you hear something go out. We hear that frequently when it gets really windy in the Big Valley. And our friends that just got affected by Hurricane Helene, we have family members who haven't had power for 5 days down in Florida. They just finally got it back, thank goodness. But, they're constantly having to prepare and replenish and everything else, okay? So don't be caught off guard. It won't be good. If you have to go outside and check a fence or something, okay? Look at this bad boy. This one just fits right on your head. And this will help you to see if you have to go outside and do something, okay? Now, these come in different lumens. We've had this one for 12 years. We used to use this when we go out and check on the chickens late at night and count and make sure everybody was accounted for. So, this has lasted a really long time. And they come where, I don't want to shine this at you, but, there's like a dim, there's a flashing, if there was some sort of an emergency. Maybe that's something you use with a neighbor if you live in an urban area, as kind of a, hey, everything's okay over here, or hey, I need help. Work it out beforehand. But these are super handy, and you can get these for almost nothing. I'll put a link to our Amazon store down below to the headlamps and things that we have. Just this, we got 2 of these 3-packs. Now what I like to do, I'm not going to show you, but I'm in my dining room right now. So when the power goes out, we have these very handy. And because they have these hooks, we can just hook them up and use it as a light source for the house. And the nice thing is that you can have just a little bit of a peak of light, or you can go full on, okay? And the more you have, the better they are. The other cool thing about these is that they have a magnet on the bottom. So you can actually put them onto a metal surface if you want to have them, say in your utility room or something, or in your garage, because you have to go down there. You could put this right there, and it's there, and you can turn it on when you have to go down there. Very handy. We keep these in the trailer too, so that when we take the dogs out to go potty when we're camping, we have a nice little lantern with us. Okay, that's about it for the alternative lighting sources that we rely upon. And we find them to just be very, very useful. There are other things you can get. You can go to the dollar store and get yourself some, inexpensive solar lights that you can use to light the path around your house or on a sidewalk. And if you were to charge those, in an emergency situation, you could even put them into a jar or something and use them inside, sort of like a firefly. And you could use them as an alternative lighting source as well, inside and outside of your house, because with no power, you might want to see who's coming to your house. Maybe a friend or family member is coming over because they need assistance. So it might help them to keep from tripping or that type of thing. Or you can put it outside for your pets if they have to go outside to use the bathroom. So that's pretty much what we use around here when we have no power. We do have a generator, but we don't use the generator for lighting because in our situation, there is no need to do that. So let's move on to things that you really need to think about having on hand in the coming months. And this is really, we're preparing for winter, but there are other things that could happen, and it's just nice to be prepared. If you have canned foods, I'm stocking up on canned foods even though I can food at home. But I'm going to make sure, I'm going to put a little extra insurance in. I'm able to get 12 cans of brands that I trust. I try and get low sodium, that type of thing, and they're less than $1 a can. And I will do those things. I will get the kind of foods that my family eats. I try to make my own soups, and I do have a freeze dryer. So I will freeze dry my own soups, and then I will put them into Mylar bags using my Avid Armor. And by the way, Avid Armor's giving away a USV 32 starter pack because they are sponsoring this year's collaboration. Thank you to Avid Armor very, very much. So I have ways of doing things like that, okay, for soups. But I'm also going to make sure that I have things like corn and green beans because we like to eat those. My husband doesn't like it, but I like canned spinach, and I'm probably going to put up a dozen of those, and I will eat them, trust me. Organic tomato sauce. We can our own tomatoes, both halved tomatoes and tomato sauces, but I'm going to make sure I have extra just in case because I don't know if I'm going to use what I do have and then need more. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure I have that insurance in my pantry. We have frozen food, we have canned food, we have freeze-dried food. I don't dehydrate food. I tend to freeze-dry it if I'm going to preserve it like that because you keep more nutrients in the food. You can go watch some freeze-dried February videos. Actually, every February, Angela at the Inquisitive Farm Wife hosts a collaboration called Freeze Dried February, and you could go there and get a lot of ideas if you have a freeze dryer or are thinking about getting a freeze dryer. And if you don't have one, freeze-dried foods are a good way to bolster your pantry. And there are a few YouTubers, and they are Thrive Life consultants. I believe Lisa Sutton at Sutton's Days, who was the originator of the 30 Days of Preparedness. She's a Thrive Life consultant, as well as Linda at Linda's Pantry. Linda has had a couple of videos in this collaboration as well. So go check out their channels if you're interested in certain things. I personally am not going to freeze dry milk or cheese, but I do think I might want to have them on hand, so I'm probably going to go and get them from a professional company. You just have to be aware, don't get some gigantic can, because once you open those cans, they have a shelf life. So I'm going to think, about how I do that. I'm thinking, I wonder if I can repackage those, and I'm going to look into that. If I could open them, repackage them into smaller Mylar bags and smaller portions, I may consider doing that. I think it would be a good idea. Now, we're going to move on a little bit to another thing that we all need to be thinking about in case of an emergency, either planned or unplanned. Alrighty, so now we're going to move on to the fact that it is cold and flu season coming on. Okay, so I work in an office part of the time, and I'm able to work from home part of the time. And if you have children that go to school, you have little ones in preschool, or maybe you babysit for your grandchildren or something, children are exposed to a lot of germs, okay? And they're still learning how to wash their hands and make sure that they have good habits. So they're just naturally going to be getting little germs, okay? And when you go into an office situation, you really don't know where your coworkers have been, who they've been around, and you're going to start hearing the sniffles and all that kind of stuff. So I went ahead, and these were actually on sale today at Costco. And so I picked up these little packets. They're called Emergency. I can put a link down below in our Amazon box as well for this. And actually on October 8th and 9th, Amazon is actually going to be having Amazon Days. So you may want to make a little list of things you want. And if you win the $100 gift certificate from Big Valley Living at our live giveaway on October 1st at 4 p.m. Pacific time, you too could buy these. Okay, so these have 60 packets of the super orange, and I think that was the original flavor, and then 30 raspberry, because you know you have to break it up a little bit. They have a thing called Beta Via, but they have zinc, and they have vitamin C, and they have vitamin D, and those are all going to help you to fight off germs that might be floating around in the air. So I'm going to tuck a couple packets of these in each one of our cars, just for general in-town type stuff. I'll keep some in my backpack that I take around with me, and then of course we'll pepper them in and around the house. Now, anytime I'm going to keep things like this in like a bathroom situation in the back of a cupboard, I'm going to use my Avid Armor, and I'm going to put in packets of 5, and I'm going to seal them up so that I can pull out a packet for like maybe a week, and the rest of them are not going to be damaged by any humidity in the air from being in a humid environment. So think about things like that, okay? Same with bandages. If you have bandages, I just got this 198 assorted premium Band-Aids. So this is the actual Band-Aid brand, but it comes with the little travel size packages that you can keep in your purse and your car, just for little boo-boos that you get, a little scrape or something. But it also has some flexible fabric, you know, the bigger bandages. It has water block bandages. So at the very minimum, keep some of these on hand and keep them, you know, in a place where everybody in your house knows to get them. We keep them right up front in the bathroom. And again, I make little packages up and I put them in the Avid Armor and take the air out of them just to keep them from drying out just from normal wear and tear sitting in a cabinet. These could last for a lot longer if you had them in a place where they didn't get exposed to those things. Now, if you did get a little light wound or something, you're going to want to make sure that you have a way to clean it off. And we use hydrogen peroxide. They come in a brown bottle for a reason. Keep them in a dark, cool place. We always keep a few of these in each of the bathroom cabinets, and then we have more in the utility room as a refill situation. So make sure you do that and store it properly. Also, alcohol. If you have a special health situation and you have little swabs to, you know, that you have to wipe your fingers before you maybe take your blood sugar reading or something, and you run out of those little swabs, you can get a cotton ball and you can use these for that. So I like to keep isopropyl alcohol on hand as well. Keep those in a dark, just keep all this stuff kind of together in one place and you'll be okay. You never know when you're going to get itchy, or you touch something that you didn't mean to touch when you were out in the yard and it was raining and windy and cold, or you just come into contact with something. You don't want to sit and scratch until you create a wound. So get yourself like some hydrocortisone cream. And this has 4 tubes. So I'll probably keep one in my trailer, one in my purse, and one in each bathroom. Keep these on hand. They'll come in handy at some point, believe me. Let's see. Analgesics. Okay, we use ibuprofen, but we also keep, I can't remember the what Tylenol is called. But we keep Tylenol on hand for those who cannot use ibuprofen. And then we also keep ibuprofen on hand. This can help reduce fevers. These can help to relieve pain. if you have a headache or something. But we'll pop one of these at the first sign of a fever, and it usually will knock it out. So we don't use a lot of it. I end up actually having to refresh these before we've used them all, but very handy to have on hand. You want to have a triple antibiotic ointment on hand. You can get the generic ones or you can get the name brand. I just picked these up as well today, and they were, let's see, I got 3 tubes of this, and it cost me less than $15. If you buy them by the eaches at the grocery store, you could pay an awful lot of money for this. You can pay like $6 or $7 for a little tube. So buy them in bulk and then keep them around, keep them handy. You can create yourself a little tiny packet too that you carry around. I recommend that. We do not have little children in our household, but we have family members who do, and you never know. If they're not feeling well, make sure that you can account for them. I actually have one relative who's going to have a baby, so today I went ahead and picked up infant Tylenol just to be sure. You know, if the baby's here and they have a fever, a mild fever or something, and their mom needs it, or young couples with children are always spending money where they don't expect to. So it's kind of nice to have things like this. If they run out, say, hey, I've got a bottle of that, you can have it. Same with for older little kids, children's Tylenol. I'm going to keep that on hand as well. Okay, so you also, if you want to boost your immunity and you're starting to feel a little peaked or something, or it's just that time of year, go ahead and maybe pick up some elderberries. These are gummies that I picked up for less than $10. There are 120 gummies in here. There are 2 adults in this household. So if we each took one a day, this would last us for 2 months, okay? That probably would get us through cold and flu season. So this is just another little insurance policy with the others that I picked up. And, oh, another little, with this emergency right here, just a little bit of insurance, just in case we're exposed to colds and stuff like that. In the winter, we have low light, right? We can have storms. We can have many, many days of cloud cover. Depending on where you live, if you're in Alaska, you're not going to get a whole lot of sunlight at all. But, you're not going to get as much sunshine in the winter, generally speaking. And you're going to spend more time indoors, even if it is sunny outside, because it might be too cold. So I'm going to be taking extra vitamin D, okay, just to keep myself healthy and everything. Now, you do your own research and everything, but my doctor has actually suggested that I take extra vitamin D year-round, and especially in the winter. So I went ahead and stocked up on this, and I've got enough here for myself for 2 years. So we're good. So if we each take it, we're good for a year. If you have special medical concerns, if you're diabetic, make sure that you have plenty of glucose testing strips. Make sure that you have extra batteries for your meter, because they don't use regular batteries, generally speaking. Make sure that you have extra medication if you're on medication. If you have medication that needs to be refrigerated, make sure that you have a backup power source to keep that medication refrigerated the way it's supposed to be. A lot of them, they need to be refrigerated, but they can't freeze, so you've got to be careful. For some people, that can be a life or death situation. So please don't take it lightly. You do not know when something's going to strike. And again, I think that Hurricane Helene has really taught all of us to think about what would happen in the event that we do not have our regular supplies. Don't think you can run up to the grocery store, because you might not be able to. And even if you can, think back to 2020. Sometimes we went to the grocery store and we didn't have what we needed anyway, okay? So this is where being prepared, this is what it's all about. So this is the last day of the National Preparedness Month in the United States of America. And I would like to thank all of you for visiting all of the channels that have participated in the 30 Days of Preparedness 2024. And I hope that you're going to come back next year. But more than anything, I hope that you heed some of the advice, because we have had so many channels who are in all different parts of the country who have shared information about how you can help prepare yourself. I want to give a special shout out to our collaborators. You've seen videos from Mouse Toes, The Inquisitive Farm Wife, Two Doctors Homestead, The Provident Prepper, Linda's Pantry, Tuliloo Creates, Pike Creek Farm, Mennonite Farmhouse, Prepping with Sarge, Mountain Grandma, Life in the Piedmont, Virginia. I had a special live session with Mouse Toes and Mennonite Farm on one day, and on another day I had a special session live with Lisa Sutton at Sutton's Days, who initiated the whole collaboration a few years ago. I'd also like to thank Avid Armor once again for sponsoring this collaboration and offering the grand prize. We have 2 other prizes that we'll be giving away on our live giveaway tomorrow, Tuesday, October 1st at 4 p.m. Pacific on my channel, Big Valley Living. And the other 2 gifts are going to be a signed copy of 100 Days to Preparedness from Lisa Sutton at Sutton's Days, as well as a $100 Amazon gift card from Big Valley Living. And we hope that you've enjoyed this. We hope that you have all learned a lot from this collaboration. Please go back. You have a little bit of time. Go back and check out the other channels. If you want to increase your chances of winning a prize, go back, watch the videos, and leave a thoughtful, original comment on each channel. We'll be using a random comment picker to award the prizes. The prizes will only be awarded to U.S. residents, and I'm sorry about that, but we have restrictions, and that's going to be the way it is. We thank you for coming by, and we hope that this helps you to be better prepared in the future as well. I know that there's a lot of information to take in, but you can never be too prepared for an emergency. See you later, everybody. Be kind.